So welcome everyone to Game Talk. I'm your host, Matt Harmon, and I'd like to share with you some special 2014 lists by Nintendo Okie. If you're not familiar, Nintendo Okie and I are very tight, as seen by this photo. That's him on the left. This was the panel from Wizard World just a couple months back. And if you're curious, I put this panel together specifically for the event and invited all of them. And it was a pleasure to have Tony Miller from Nintendo Okie, which is a multiple person organization. And we're going to actually meet them all through their lists. So they basically have a web page NintendoOkie.com with a dash in the middle. And they made a lot of 2014 lists. 2014 year in review, Mika's Games of the Year, 2014 year in review, Bullet Witch present the worst game of the year, 2014 year in review, predictions for 2015, 2014 year in review, your worst game decision, 2014 year in review, Ethan's awesome games of the year, 2014 year in review, best story, 2014 year in review, Shelby's games of the year, 2014 year in review, future games we're excited about, 2014 year in review, biggest surprise, 2014 year in review, best things outside of games, 2014 year in review, biggest disappointment, 2014 year in review, Shannon's games of the year, 2014 year in review, Tony's games of the year, 2014 year in review, the past games we want to play, 2014 year in review, best moment in a game, 2014 year in review, worst game industry decision, 2014 year in review, best music, 2014 year in review, Gaz's game of the year, 2014 year in review, best developer, 2014 year in review, best character, 2014 year in review, Will's games of the year. And I'm not sure, I don't believe I'm going to be able to go through them all. Maybe I can. I don't know if this is going to take a whole year to review their years to review. I thought what I'd do for a start to make it easy on me, I'm going to just start with the oldest, not, the first one, which was December 21st, just a couple days before Christmas. Let's take a look. All right. So, 2014 year in review. Will's games of the year. Number 10. Amnesia, The Dark Descent. Shelby's been trying to get me to buy Amnesia for years. I didn't really want to for the sheer fact that it's on a PC Mac. I'm a console guy, through and through. I finally broke down and bought Amnesia after making a list of all the best horror games I didn't already have. Amnesia is okay, but I just didn't like it that much. The atmosphere is scary, the sounds and music are eerie, but the gameplay just annoyed me. I don't like running out of oil and having to search in the dark for more. I guess this is supposed to make it scarier, but it just seemed to make me angry. Josh Beebe and I played it for a while, but we never got around to beating it. I was just disappointed because some people consider it to be the single scariest game there is. I also hate when I get stuck in games as I did in this one. I don't mind puzzles, but I do mind tasks that take forever to complete just because you don't have a clue what to do. That's why I like new Zelda better than old Zelda, because I can actually play this stinking game without getting lost. I don't want my video games to feel like chores. Anyway, that being said, Amnesia did make my top 10, but only because it was funny watching Josh dodge the invisible monster. Not that scary though. Okay? Number 9. Carrier. Let's see if I can get this a little bigger. Number 9, Carrier. This year I decided to add to my Sega Dreamcast collection. I went to each vintage stock in Tulsa and bought as many Dreamcast games as I could. One of these was this game Carrier. I love survival horror, and this game is definitely survival horror. You can definitely tell it was a straight up copy of the early Resident Evil games. I guess they like the first one the best because every line delivered by the characters in this game is straight up cheese. As far as I could tell, because I don't pay attention to storylines in video games, you get on this ship that has been infected with a virus turning everyone into monsters, zombies, whatever. You just walk around shooting baddies, solving puzzles, and meeting the most ludicrous characters ever put in a game. We were laughing at everything they said. If you like bad survival horror games, which I enjoy immensely, get Carrier. Oh no. Oh no. Number 8. Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future. He's Echo, faster than Flipper, jumps higher than Mario, smacks into a cliff. This is just one of the many ways to describe Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future. This was another game I got on my quest to own more Sega Dreamcast games. Josh and I played this together as well, and we skipped the instructions as we do on all the go rounds. The swimming controls are extremely difficult to master, especially when you don't know which button does what. Echo games are very unique. You can talk to whales, fight sharks, and get a couple of dolphins together and do a flying V straight into a rock. Like a real dolphin, you must breathe air, you must feed, and you must not swim upside down on the bottom of the ocean. I find Echo to be a blast and an experience that everyone needs to have. It's one of a kind. I was working at Tahoe Software after I had developed some Barbie games, and I remember one of the designers on the team proposed to me to make a game called Echo Warrior. This was in 1990. Forget the year. This was kind of pre-internet. This was pre-internet. And I just remember thinking at the time how bad of an idea it was. Nowadays, it kind of can make a little more sense, the whole... And in fact, at Bonozo, we are producing a positive message game called Cyber Brave to teach kids how to deal with bullying. But it's just... It's just, I don't know, just triggering those memories. Alright. Number 7. Alone in the Dark. The New Nightmare. Sega Dreamcast, survival horror, you get the gist. Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare is a better copy of Resident Evil than Carrier is. The monsters are scarier, the puzzles are harder, and you have a handy dandy flashlight that you can use to find clues. You start off by picking the guy or the girl, don't ask me the names. The guy starts outside the dimension, the girl starts in it. Once you're inside, you solve puzzles, find new weapons, find zero ammo, and start wasting what little you have. The controls are clunky like they're supposed to be, the music is creepy, and there's a few jump scares that take you by surprise. This really feels like it should have had Resident Evil in the title. Number 6. The Evil Within was my most anticipated Xbox One game since the beginning of 2014. From the maker of Resident Evil 4, it really tries to bring back the intensity that comes with being surrounded by dozens of zombies all at once with no way out, and it succeeds. From the very beginning, The Evil Within is hard. You are running for your life because you have no ammo, no weapon, and you die very quickly. Josh and I spent an hour and a half on the third chapter of the game because we couldn't find a gun. As you progress through the game, you find mirrors that transport you to another plane. You meet a nurse there who straps you into an electric chair and shocks new power-ups straight into your brain. When you get back to the real world, there's monsters, a big bad wolf, a guy with a safe on his head, and all sorts of strange creatures trying to kill you. And they succeed very, very often. The Evil Within is the scariest game I've played that came out this year, but not necessarily the scariest I've played this year. If you haven't played The Evil Within, this is one of my own personal favorite games of the year. Primarily because of the endings boss battle. No spoilers, but if you have not played Evil Within, the final boss levels alone, in my opinion, are worth it. I think when it comes to scariest of the games of the year, this is not my number one though. It's kind of more survival horror than it is spooky. Sorry for my commentary, let's continue. Number 5, Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Halo is one of my favorite franchises, solely because I love the multiplayer and I've always loved the fact that I can drive a car in the middle of an FPS battle. Stratus16 says, is this guy on crack? The Evil Within was one of the worst and most boring games I have ever played. Crusher backs it up. Welcome everyone. Did you guys get to the ending? Because if you haven't, it's I don't know what to say, but I think it goes in the all-time best worst things of gaming history. Stratus16 says you would die so easily, someone could piss on you and you would die. I don't know how far you got after let's say halfway. Believe it or not, you have enough ammunition. Not to mention the black bars. Right, the complaint about the letterboxing. Why? I hate to tell you guys, the game is not that hard. But if you don't play stealth games on hard regularly, like if you don't set Last of Us to hard, you don't set Splinter Cell to hard, you don't play, you know, on Skyrim you're a wizard and you're not a thief, just kind of throwing that in there, then this game, you know, you might not be, I'm not trying to say you're not an awesome gamer, I'm just pointing out, like, myself who plays Metal Gear on hard and enjoys every moment of it and wants to do stealth kills and doesn't even want to shoot anybody, you know, it had that vibe. Miss Stratus was like, I was so bored, I fell asleep after 45 minutes. I'd give it another chance. It actually loosens up. And then the final boss battle is... No spoiler, but that's all I can say. You've never seen a final boss battle until you've played Evil Within, in my opinion. Well, it's one of the most unforgettable moments in gaming history, I think. Crusher's like, it's more cinematic. You know, is what they would say to justify letterboxing. If I wanted that, I'd get a bloody movie. I didn't Google why the developers did that. Fortunately, the TV that I game on is large enough that it wasn't a big factor for me. Not saying I have a huge, it's like a 46 whatever. It's not even mine actually, it's actually my girlfriend's. Who was a gift from her parents, so. But it makes it like bearable. I'm glad you guys at least played it. Kudos. Hey, you guys gave it a shot. Let's continue on. You might be able to agree on his number 5. Again, number 5, Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Halo is one of my favorite franchises, solely because I love the multiplayer and have always loved the fact that I can drive a car in the middle of an FPS battle. Capture the Flag rocks With Halo 3 came Forge mode, which added a completely new and refreshing layer to the game. I love making racing maps and trying to come up with things no one has ever thought of. Halo, the Master Chief Collection, has everything that was great about the main games in the franchise and puts them together in a single game. Josh and I have been playing Halo Combat Evolved, and Shelby and I have been playing Halo 2. The graphics have been updated, making these games look brand new. Depending on which Halo game you like best, you can switch your control scheme to match that game and use to play any of the four. You can also switch between the old graphics of Halo and Halo 2 on the fly, which I found amusing doing without Shelby suspecting. I'm familiar with that. I cannot wait to recreate every one of my Halo Forge maps all in one game. It will be epic. Stratus16 said the letterboxes were not his main issue with the Evil Within because he does have a 75-inch. I turned on game mode. And then, I don't know if in reference to the Halo, he says Call of Duty fan throws up. Yeah, okay. Right. He's in Master Chief. Okay, cool. Alright, number 4. Mario Kart 8. Mario loves to race karts. I have no idea how he gets in and out of one with that big belly of his, but he does. He also doesn't mind settling his differences with the most dreaded enemies on the track. For some reason, he doesn't mind partying with them either, but that's a different story. Mario Kart 8 is what we like to call the best Mario Kart game ever made. It has tracks, and boy does it have tracks. If you get the downloadable content, you're looking at a whopping 48 different tracks to race on. And who knows if that's going to be all of them. You can also now race as Link from the Legend of Zelda franchise, just in case you didn't know. You can race karts, cars, motorcycles, horseshoes, and balloons. Yeah. You can race upside down, underwater, and you can hit Yoshi with as many red shells as possible. Take that, you annoying lizard. If you like Mario Kart, if you like frustrating, unfair, hair-pulling out games, and if you like Koopalings and babies, get Mario Kart 8. If you have a Wii U, get Mario Kart 8. Stratus16 says, the Wii is still the greatest console ever. And I would note, without a kappa. The steering wheel was amazing. High praise. I don't have the steering wheel adapter, but I think you can actually get them at dollar stores. You made me want to try that now. I have a couple Wii's. Rock with Roadblock, welcome back. Welcome to Game Talk. We're running down some 24 lists today. The ones by Nintendo Okie. You broke the steering wheel because your sister beat you. Crusher says, it's funny. People leagued, I'm pretty sure I know what you're trying to say, at the Wii U when it first came out, yet it runs games better than the PS4 and Xbox One. I'm not trying to like say anything. I relate to that, Crusher, because I got the Wii U when it came out. Primarily, I was interested in researching the new, iPad type controller, and I fell in love with it. I got Zombie U from day one. I got it early that Christmas, and Zombie U was like my game of the year for that year. It was so much fun to use the pad for inventory instead of going up, down, select, on the pause menu. And I was never a hater of Wii U. And I remember I put it on my Facebook message, and I have a lot of like hardcore gamers right on my Facebook. I said, oh my gosh, I love the Wii U. The controller is great. It feels so great. I like the way that my hands are a little more separate. I just really love this system. And I actually played on it Black Ops, Assassin's Creed, Batman, Arkham City, Mass Effect 3. It even did Walking Dead, the one that got panned, and also Splinter Cell, in addition to a lot of indie games. So I played a lot of like prime console games on it. I had a freaking blast on Batman, throwing the Batarang through my controller, using the sniper mode. I was never a hater, but I remember the crap I got for liking that machine. And the thing's not even expensive. Like, it was affordable. I use Wii U today actually to watch Twitch on my TV. I use Wii U to be able to watch Twitch on my home high def. And I've been doing that for like a year plus. Though I would add, there's like a new problem with that since they added the theater mode and so that's cool you mentioned that. Yeah, people laughed at the Wii U, right? For whatever reason, I didn't like feel a need to take an opinion because I just bought one. So why am I gonna like make fun of it? I just got it and I really enjoyed it. I still do. I still do. Your sister is not good at every game, but is great at Mario Kart. Welcome back, Dev Diva. She says, at first I thought the controller would be hard to use, but I was really surprised by how good it is. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's great feedback. To continue with Nintendo Okie's, this is actually Will's Games of the Year. They have about 20 different top 10 lists for 2014. To finish Will's list, number 3, Silent Hill 2. At this point, it was obvious in the beginning, but clearly his top 10 lists are the games that he played that year, not the games that came out that year, which I can have, and since they're kind of like a retro gaming type outfit, I guess it makes sense. Stratus 16 chimes in, Xbone is the worst console of the year. Titanfall was the most overhyped game of the year. Wasn't there also a console though that came out on Kickstarter? Would you say the Wii is worse? I'm sorry, better than the Xbone? But that didn't come out this year, right? That came out last year. There was actually another Kickstarted console. It's slipping my mind right now. We could Google it, but I think that one maybe. I mean, you got to be a pretty serious Xbone hater to like. Come on, to like the Steam controller. Woo woo. That's not off topic. It's a shame Titanfall wasn't a little more successful. It was a launch title. It's flagship, right? Those guys, I think they tried real hard. Did you guys play Rise on Xbox One? The launch title Rise? Actually, Titanfall wasn't launched, right? It just came right out after. I actually liked watching people play Rise, but I would never want to buy that game. It had a cool story. The Razer gaming console. Yeah, I think that might be it. Alright, continuing. Number 3, Silent Hill 2. I didn't know what to expect when I bought Silent Hill 2. It was supposed to be scarier than any Resident Evil game, but I was skeptical. I love the Resident Evil remake, which I've beaten countless times. Nothing else could compare in my mind. I didn't really want Silent Hill 2 to be good, but I gave it a chance. I cannot just stick to my Resident Evil franchise, especially when it has been going downhill as of late. Silent Hill 2 is good. It is a really good example of the very best of survival horror. It has puzzles, it has monsters, it has awesome boss fights, eerie music, a strange atmosphere, and is at the same time extremely unique. You are searching for your wife, whom you know is dead, but have received a letter that makes you think otherwise. You come to the town of Silent Hill and search for her, and the whole stinking town is against you. You must make your way through 4 different mansions, fighting and solving your way through each while gathering keys and ammo. Bosses like the Pyramid Head, flying corpses in the hospital, and freaky door dudes are some of the strangest monsters I've seen in any game. What Silent Hill does better than any other horror game is that it's so strange, it makes you feel uneasy. The dialogue is weird and vague. The town is foggy, and you can't see anything until it gets right on top of you. At one time, you get into a boat and go off into nothingness, which makes it seem like you're not moving at all, but eventually you arrive at your destination. The biggest reason to play this game is just to experience the uneasiness of all. I love that sensation. Alright, it's unanimous. Silent Hill, I'm not trying to comment on everyone's top 10 list as I read it, but I can't help myself. Silent Hill 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. So, kudos to him for bringing that up. Did you guys beat it? Did you guys beat it and then even play the little extra mission? Stratus says, I'm not reading that one. Yeah, the new Silent Hill, I'm buying it. The Silent Hill 2, well, though, what he may not know, this reviewer, and what maybe you guys do or don't know, it had a couple firsts in it. That fog layer that they did on the PlayStation 2 was actually like a little bit of technical wizardry. It was like the first game to have that close, thick of a fog. The other thing that was unique with Silent Hill 2, you remember this. To my knowledge, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling it's the game, if it wasn't the first, it's the one that made it popular to put your hand in a toilet in a video game. And ever since, pretty much now, that's a requirement of like every horror game at one point, to be able to touch it, put your hand inside a toilet. That game was awesome. That game was awesome. I think too, wasn't it like when it comes to survival games, like there's different kinds. It's like it either shows you what you can pick up when you get close, or it shows you what you can pick up if you get close to it, or sometimes they shine. Something about the way, I don't remember now, though, something about the way you find items in Silent Hill 2, you know, had its little special take. Nothing is scarier than unsanitary toilets. Silent Hill 2, by the way, the title song, this might sound obsessive compulsive. The title song in Silent Hill 2 is so good. I let it loop for hours on end, multiple days. I know that song by heart. And other streamers, they like have it in their playlists, and I'll always recognize the Silent Hill 2 theme song. Of all gaming music, except probably for Mario Brothers, of course, it's the song I know the most. It's really freaking good. I think they also didn't mention how good the CG was in Silent Hill 2, like the story. Like, you'd meet a character, and for the first time, like, the character would talk to you, and it's just CG, and they freak you out. It's really well done. And if you actually look at it, you know how, like, the Ring movie, and I can't, you know, water in the walls, I can't remember them all, but, like, how this game kind of, like, showed us a glimpse into the future, how Japanese horror making was, like, going on fire. Because in Japanese horror, they're willing to take on topics and do gore that American production companies aren't comfortable with or don't want to do. Like, Japanese horror will talk about, I'm just going to go through a list, I'm not thinking of any movie in particular, but, you know, incest, rape, you know, whether it's cannibalism, or they're willing to go to, like, farther fringe topics, you know, teenage suicide, mass suicide, and then they're also want to add this level of gore more based actually on the pain, and so that was brewing, and I think that's kind of why Silent Hill was such a success, is that the Japanese horror is top notch. Stratus 16 backs me up on the Silent Hill 2 theme song. Awesome. Glad you're a fan. Dev Diva asked if anyone played PT. I hope everyone has. I know I did. I got to the ending and saw that who's playing Silent Hill 5. Japanese horror is getting a B in math class. Okay. Here we go. Number 2. Did you guys do these ones? Number 2. NES Remix 1 and 2. Just take the best NES games of all time, cut all the best parts out of them, paste them into a single game, and rank your time and score on each challenge. That is the formula for NES Remix 1 and 2. I bought these games just to see if I would like playing games I already own. Except in small pieces. Let me tell you, I do like it. I love trying to best my score on challenges from Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda, Punch-Out, and many more of the greatest games of all time. I really love trying to best Jost and Shelby's scores. NES Remix 2 features the game Super Luigi Brothers. It's like adding mirror mode to Super Mario Bros. You run right to left, and everything is backwards. Wow, that was a top caster gimmick I was going for. It's very, very difficult since I'm so used the other way. I think both NES Remix 1 and 2 have gotten more play than any other games in my house this year, except for my number 1. NES is the greatest system of all time, and these games show why. NES is the greatest system of all time, and these games show why. I remember, I think this came out like early on in the year too, right? Like it came out like in January or February. So that could also be another reason why it got so much play. And it came out early in the year. Number 1. From the Nintendo Okie, Will, and Josh. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U / Nintendo 3DS. These are the only games that matter. Super Smash Bros. Is Nintendo's greatest franchise, and the newest versions make each previous version obsolete. Super Smash Bros. 3DS came out in October, and I played it every single day until Super Smash Bros. Wii U came out. I cannot stop fighting. What makes Smash so great is that it features all the best Nintendo characters ever and pits them against each other in all-out fistfights. Mario can sock Link in the jaw, Pikachu can thundershock the heck out of Star Fox. Heck, with the addition of some third-party characters, even Pac-Man can bite Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man's face. Besides the characters, Smash features levels modeled after a multitude of games, features the music from even more games, has mini games to earn trophies, has challenges that keep you busy, and can be played by up to 8 players at the same time. No other game has so much replay value. I could not decide which version of Smash Bros. Was better, so I decided that the Wii U and 3DS versions of the game tie for the top spot. There's Smash, and there's everything else. Hedgehog. Well, there you have it. Nintendo Okie's 2014 year in review, Will's Game of the Year. I would again mention their site is nintendo-okie.com. They have like 2014 year in review. This was the first one. Most likely I will not be getting through them all by the new year. But I did like the read, I did like the games, and I hope you did too. Thank you for listening and watching.